G'day folks, Lone Mojo here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at 5 tips to get you started with Valheim. But before we do that, make sure that if you do like this video you hit the like and subscribe button for more Valheim tips, tricks and guides. So one of the things you're going to be doing early game is collecting a ton of wood. And you're going to want to be as efficient as possible with collecting the wood versus going back and repairing your gear. There are a couple of tricks that you can use which will help improve this downtime. Firstly, when you're harvesting a tree, you can actually hit multiple trees with a single axe stroke. Doing this will have the same effect on your stamina and the durability of your axe as though you were hitting a single tree, so it's very efficient. Additionally, if you angle the trees right, when they fall, they'll knock into other trees, potentially creating a chain reaction. This can even include breaking trees up into smaller parts to make it even more efficient for collecting the wood. Now Valheim is a survival game, but unlike other survival games, you're not affected by hunger in the same way. You won't lose health, you won't become damaged, and you definitely won't die from hunger. Instead, the amount of food you've eaten will control both your health and your stamina. You can have up to 3 buffs at any given time, and they can't overlap. So for example, if you eat berries, you can't eat more berries until the effects have worn off from the original ones. Diversity will give you a greater buff, and prepared foods will also give you a better buff. Early game, you're basically going to be getting berries and mushrooms, but you can also prepare some meat by cooking the meat that you get from boars and deer. Workbenches are an essential part of the game, especially when you're building larger settlements. They provide a couple of different functions, some more obvious than the others. So firstly, it can be used to create a zone of where you can build, which is represented by this circle. Now later in the game you can actually chain multiple workbenches together to build bigger areas, but early game you're probably going to be okay with one. The other function of a workbench is to allow you to repair your tools and build new ones. But there's a catch here. You have to have your workbench covered, which means you need to have a wall behind it and a roof over top of it. Now depending on where you position it, you might get away with say 1 or 2 wall pieces behind it and a roof over top, but you may need to extend that a little bit more. If you try and interact with the bench, it will give you a warning. So this means that you're going to have to look at how you've placed it and maybe look at building those side walls and extending your roof even further. Like a workbench, a fire pit is also very important, and it has a couple of purposes. Firstly, it can be used to cook food if you build a cooking station over top of it. If you position them right, you can actually have 2 cooking stations over a single fire pit, which will allow you to cook up to 4 items. Additionally, a fire pit will provide warmth, and this is important for you to be able to rest at night. You can't sleep unless your bed is near a fire to provide that warmth. It will also help dry you off if you happen to be wet. Now the problem with a fire pit is that if it rains and the fire pit's outdoors, your fire's going to go out and you won't be able to light it again until the rain has stopped. So the solution to that is to build your fire pit inside your house. But there are a couple of catches you need to remember. Firstly, fire pits cannot be built on wooden floors, so you're going to need to pull up one of your floorboards and put the fire pit there. Additionally, if you've got an enclosed house, the smoke from the fire has nowhere to go and it will eventually fill the house and damage you. So you're going to want to look at building a chimney. The easiest way to do this is to build a roof piece going in the opposite direction to your house's roof, directly above the fire pit. This will let the smoke escape while keeping you and your fire nice and dry. The last tip I want to look at is about archery, and it's not a single specific tip, but it's more to highlight the importance of the skill. Early game you're going to get access to build a bow, and you're going to want to do it. It's going to help you take down deer, which are notoriously skittish, but it's also incredibly useful against almost every boss that you're going to fight. Understanding the arrow drop off for your bow, especially the early bow, will set you up to take on even the first boss with relative ease. And that's it, 5 tips that will help make your early game of Valheim a much easier experience. So what other useful tips have you got for beginners with Valheim? Make sure you put your comments below and let everyone know. And until next time, keep gaming.